Hey, welcome back to more Season 11 goodness. There are no points, so there's kind of no point, so let's fuck shit up. I'm Ferrikster. And the challenge for this week, as I mentioned in the end of last week's video, that's why you are supposed to watch videos until the end, is to build any team in any league and zero bubble at least 2 charge moves per game. And I banned some fast moves like Razor Leaf, Smackdown, Poison Jab, I think one or two others, and I also banned some charge moves like Power, Punch, and Acid Spray that would just make things a little bit too easy because I wanted you to actually need to bubble the moves. The idea was to get pretty good at judging when the opponent would shield, so ideally you zero bubble moves that your opponent ends up not shielding anyway. But obviously that is not always what happens, and so let's check out some of these games that have been sent in. This first set was sent in by Sr Demal, and he is playing this out in Little Jungle Cup. That is really quiet, so let me turn on my own game sounds just so we've got something playing. So the opponent safe swaps in a Chansey, which is not something I would ever recommend anyone do, because it gives your opponent, when you swap it as a Chansey safe swap, gives your opponent the ability to kind of control the flow of battle a little bit, just because they can build up a ton of energy and switch out. I felt, by the way, that here, right off the bat, would have been an amazing time to throw a Bubble Beam and to zero bubble it, because the opponent probably wouldn't notice. Chansey is so thick that whether you bubble a Bubble Beam or have a bubbleless beam, both of them would do approximately 0 damage to Chansey, but actually decides to go double Brave Bird, bubbles them both, and gets a shield from Chansey, which is not something I would have predicted. Chansey shielding, unusual, a little bit. And then Sr Demal is going to switch into Pyroar, which is an unusual Pokemon to see in Little Jungle Cup, or anywhere, really. So he's going to go and build up to and throw this Flame Charge. Zero bubbles it, and the Chansey shields it, which is nuts to me. Then switches out into a Vigoroth, counters Pyroar down, and now what this and Demal is going to come out with a Lurantis, which is not something that I have used myself yet, but here it is. So, gonna just Fury Cutter this Vigoroth. Vigoroth could have thrown something by now. I'm not sure what the opponent is building up to. Demal is gonna throw a Superpower, zero bubbles it, and it KOs anyway. So I guess Demal didn't really need any bubbles there anyway. As a Pokemon Go trainer, I consider bubbles to be pretty OP, but I guess sometimes you really just don't need them. So who's going to do enough anyway? Opponent throws a Psychic, but Ducklet is kind of thick, and Chansey doesn't hit that hard. I could see their finger was getting awfully close to Bubble Beam, but he decided to hold on to this energy. This might be an okay opportunity to throw a zero-bubbled Bubble Beam, but no, just going to go straight for the nuke, throw a Brave Bird, zero bubble, or fully bubble it. It's going to take out the Nidoran, and Demal is going to take that first game. So that is GG. What is this team? I don't know. It's none of my business, but it seems to be working so far, so I guess let's proceed. All right, so into Battle 2. I don't know. I've never seen anyone use a Lurantis, and I've never seen anyone use a Pyroar. All right, so Ducklet Mirror. This would be fantastic if the other duck was running Water Gun, which is something I've been seeing kind of a lot of lately. Instead, this is just a very standard Wing Attack Ducklet Mirror. It looks like the opponent is missing, or Demal is hitting some kind of breakpoint, because Wing Attacks do seem to be doing a little more to the opposing Ducklet. Gonna shield up a Bubble Beam, and just gonna go straight for the Brave Bird, fully bubbling it, so definitely hoping that the opponent will no shield. And the opponent does not. So it gets taken out. The opponent's going to bring in an Onyx. Demal is going to stay in, build up to, and throw a Bubble Beam. I guess you can't. It's not really super safe to switch out. And going to zero bubble the Bubble Beam. This would hit Onyx for double super effective, so I do expect the Onyx to shield, and he does. So good call from Demal. And then going to switch out into Lurantis. So this is probably just a Sand Tomb. Onyx usually knows Sand Tomb, and if they wanted to spend an elite TM to get it, or have a really old Onyx lying around, could know Rock Slide. Otherwise, more likely to know Heavy Slam. So, gonna zero bubble this double super effective Leaf Blade, probably expecting a shield, and he doesn't shield, so Lurantis is just gonna throw another Leaf Blade. And zero bubble this one also, because this one would KO whether they bubbled or not. So, that is the third move that was zero bubbled in this battle already. Gonna bring out Pyroar, and this is kind of a rough spot for Pyroar because, you know, taking very heavy damage from these rock throws. Gonna have to shield this Sand Tomb. It's gonna lower the defense. And a Cottony comes out. Demal pretty quick to the swap out. Gonna switch in Ducklet just to clear the debuff on Pyroar. Pyroar gonna come back out and try to just Fire Fang this down before Cottony is able to reach a move. Gets very close, and if they got through one more, Fire Fang would actually maybe have been able to just hit Onyx with a move when it came back out. But unfortunately, Cottony makes it to the Seed Bomb, is able to take Pyroar out, so that was a very close game. But I guess Demal was just a little bit greedy there, going for one zero bubble more than necessary. And yeah, gonna drop that second game. So, queuing up right away into game 3. Up against Gomez, 346. So, Ducklet into Ducklet. Ducklet, a very popular lead recently. That's something that I have noticed also, so I guess that's the same across all skill levels, seems to be the case. Not too surprising. Ducklet has been a very common spawn all week, and I think all last week. So they have definitely been very easy to come by. Demal calling the bait correctly, zero bubbling the Bubble Beam. I mean, the opponent wasn't quite up to a Brave Bird anyway, but it could have been an Aerial Ace. That does kind of suggest to me that the opponent is running Aerial Ace Bubble Beam. Going straight for the Brave Bird, takes out the Duck. And opponent's going to bring in a Nummel. So Demal is just going to build up to and throw this Bubble Beam. It is going to hit Nummel for double super effective, and Demal is going to bubble it fully. Nummel decides to shield, so and Demal is going to have to let himself get farmed down here because Lurantis really does not want to see this Nummel. So it does take Nummel a long time to get to a charge move, but it does learn Bulldoze and Overheat. I think it learns Overheat. Oh, I hope I'm not wrong about that. Regardless, Pyro definitely going to have to shield, and going to be able to Fire Fang Nummel the entire way down, ending with a bunch of energy. Cottony going to come out, throw its Charm, going to zero bubble this Flame Charge. At the very least, it's going to boost Pyroar's attack. But really no reason to bubble. There was almost no chance the Cottony would try to no-shield that. Able to chomp Cottony down most of the way and get it low enough that Lurantis is going to be able to come out. Has to reach a charge move and has to zero bubble it. So if this Cottony had fallen here, Demal actually would have failed this challenge right here, right now. Able to get to this Leaf Blade, though, and can very easily zero bubble this Leaf Blade and still manage to get the KO. Very close game, not in the sense that Demal didn't have it in the bag, but almost didn't quite manage to get that second zero bubble charge move in. But yeah, that is a GG. So into game 4, I have never. Lurantis is such an unusual Pokemon to see. I haven't even evolved one yet. I don't know the IV spreads of any of Demal's Pokemon, by the way. But alright, next up into maybe. Guess that's how I would pronounce that. Ducklet into Dino. This is okay-ish, kind of neutral-ish. I mean, Dino will outpace Ducklet. Demal is going straight for the Brave Bird here. Gonna end up shielding this. This is probably just a body slam, which Ducklet would survive. Oh, it's actually a crunch. That's crazy. Ducklet would barely survive that also. Gonna throw the Brave Bird and gonna zero bubble it anyway. I mean, you could totally throw a Bubble Beam if you're gonna zero bubble it, but I guess that Brave Bird actually still does do kind of a lot of damage. Gonna actively swap out into Lurantis and able to Fury Cutter down the Dino before it reaches another charge move. Cottonee gonna come out, and Lurantis gonna throw this Leaf Blade and not gonna be able to reach a second one, unfortunately. Gonna fully bubble this Leaf Blade. Definitely needs to do some damage with it. Actually, the Leaf Blade manages to take Cottonee down to about half, and then Demal is going to bring out the Pyroar, and able to just chomp this, able to Fire Fang this Cottonee the whole way down, ending with some energy. It's definitely true that if he had not bubbled the Leaf Blade, Cottonee would have been able to reach a charge move, and Demal would have been forced to shield there. So it was definitely a good call to actually do that damage. Able to zero bubble this flame charge, securing his 2 zero bubbled moves. Gonna shield up this body slam, absolutely necessary, and able to Fire Fang the Shelmet the entire way down before they're even able to reach another body slam. So. Yeah, manages to take a third win in this set. We are 3-1 so far. So already a positive set and has zero bubbled a great many number of moves. Good calls on some of them. Other times, I guess he just didn't need bubbles. I guess bubbles are not so overpowered after all. All right, next up against OK Coral. Ducklet into Cottonee. So if Cottonee wanted to shield everything, it could definitely force its way into switch advantage. Demal is going straight for the Brave Bird. Gonna zero bubble this Brave Bird also. Even if this does, even zero bubbled, because it's hitting for super effective, it still does so much damage. Cottonee opts to throw their charge move here, and Demal is gonna no shield. The Seed Bomb, curiously, does not KO the Ducklet, so it was also zero bubbled. So it's possible that this person maybe also going for some zero bubble challenge, or just wanted to try to get in one charm extra of damage. Gonna bring a Croagunk into the Pyroar, and Demal gonna shield this move. So probably a good move. Croagunk does learn Brick Break, and that is what this move turns out to be. At this rate, Croagunk is barely gonna reach the next Brick Break, so probably gonna draw a second shield here since Demal's Pyroar has so much energy. Shielding that Brick Break, and the opponent actively swaps out into Swinub. Gonna throw this this Flame Charge as soon as he can. Definitely gonna zero bubble it. It is definitely gonna draw a shield, and with that, that secures his second zero bubble charge move. And able to kind of just Fire Fang the Swinub down until it's super low. At this point, a Body Slam will probably KO Pyroar. Yes, it does, and Lurantis is going to be able to come out. And even though the Fury Cutter is resisted, able to take out the Swinub, and is going to be able to Fury Cutter down the Croagunk, no problem. Missed opportunity to throw a Zero Bubble Leaf Blade, but hard to keep track of Croagunk's energy. You don't want to run the risk that he sneaks in a move and is able to take your team down. So, all in all, very solid. A 4-1 victory in this set, and I think in one of those battles, yeah, or two of those battles, through a third zero bubbled move, where it only cost him one of those games. If he had bubbled everything in a normal game, it would have been an easy 5-0, but really a fantastic achievement to go 4-1 with so many under-bubbled moves. All right, next up, we have Just a Ditch Abyss. Let me turn off my in-game sounds, since Aditya actually does record with his own game sounds. All right, we have, yes, so this is being played in Open Great League, and we have Drapion into Walrein. So Aditya here is going to just go straight for the crunch, going to bubble this one fully, and yeah, manages to land. It does make a lot of sense. This is actually a good move using a Drapion with crunch. A lot of players would be acclimated to not shielding the first move because they're, being careful to shield only the second one in case you get the debuff on the first move. So I think this is actually a really smart team choice. Here, going to throw this second crunch, going to zero bubble this, just wiggling his finger around at the top of the screen, making a point. And yeah, the opponent does in fact shield that. Gets the defense drop there. Sneaks in a move could definitely shield this, and even if it turns out to be a Icicle Spear, he'd be able to throw his next crunch. Ends up taking an Earthquake, and with that, the Drapion is going to go down, but that's all right. It's going to be able to bring out Deoxys defense. Deoxys, good choice also for this. Psycho Boost is a very cheap move, and also because it debuffs you, you kind of can expect them to shield the first one. So definitely with the way he's balancing moves that do damage but also have the potential to debuff, I think he's making it easy for himself to figure out when the opponent is going to shield or not. So very clever team composition, I would say. Gonna go straight for the Thunderbolt here. It hits the Umbreon, and Umbreon obviously was not going to no shield. And gonna let this go. This foul play is going to do a lot, like 45%. That is going to leave Deoxys very, very low. Gonna throw a Psycho Boost and gonna zero bubble it. The opponent is definitely not going to shield this regardless, but I guess nice just to get that last zero bubbled move out of the way so you're not forced to zero bubble something else later in case they have something in the back that turns out to be not great against against Gliscor. You wouldn't want them to just leave before you're able to throw a second move. A lot of games from last week's challenge got spoiled by someone leaving the game before they got KO'd. So, gonna go straight Night Slash here. Getting pretty low, so definitely gonna have to shield something. So might as well be this foul play. Hopefully it doesn't end up regretting that. And the opponent is going to switch into a Venusaur right away. Gonna throw this Earthquake. Venusaur is at 5 Vine Whips at this point already. So getting close to the Frenzy Plant. Gonna throw this Earthquake. The opponent lets it go. Builds up one extra Vine Whip, and gonna throw this Frenzy Plant here. That is gonna definitely be enough to take out the Gliscor. Gonna come back in with Deoxys, able to counter down this this Venusaur, but not gonna be able to take out the Umbreon. Really, really close game though. That is a GG. Tough start to that series. Starting off going for a loss on your first battle. Let's see how Aditya is able to pull this through. Alright, so Drapion into Venusaur. This is a pretty good lead. Everything on the team actually has some play against Venusaur. Drapion obviously kind of has the hardest win here. Gonna go straight for the crunch. And gonna bubble it fully, definitely expecting the opponent to no shield to let the first crunch go so that you can shield the second one in case of a debuff. Don't get the debuff, but is able to land that. Able to also sneak in an extra Poison Sting, so it definitely helps. And gonna no shield this resisted Frenzy Plant. It does still do a lot of damage. Opponent gonna switch out into a Haxorus. And Aditya's going to throw the next crunch here and going to zero bubble this one. And the opponent lets it go. And it does not that much damage, but he does get the defense fall. So that's something. And going to come out with Deoxys and going to counter the whole way down, I imagine. Going to no-shield this. Definitely going to be a Night Slash. Hits for super effective, but Deoxys is super tanky and it doesn't have stab or anything from Haxorus, so it doesn't really do that much. Unfortunately, Haxorus is going to be able to reach another one of those, so I'm going to have to shield here. Haxorus gets the boost as it goes down, so as good a place as any to get that. And yeah, now going to Zero bubble the first Psycho Boost, anticipating that the opponent would shield it, and they do shield it. So, good call on the zero bubble there. And now going to throw another Psycho Boost, and going to zero bubble this one also. Definitely doesn't need to. This is the third move already getting zero bubble this set, and the opponent lets that go, and it does nothing. So maybe trying to make the opponent feel very comfortable about the bulk of their Gliscor. Now going to bubble this Psycho Boost, which does more damage. When you zero bubble something, by the way, it does 25% of the damage it would have done if you had fully bubbled it. Just so you know. So decides to shield this. Does turn out to be an Earthquake. I was surprised that the opponent threw the Earthquake. It's just so tempting because Drapion is so low to just throw the Night Slash, but Night Slash would easily have been survived by Drapion. Now going to fully bubble this Crunch. The Venusaur shields. So we've gotten the last shield here, and Venusaur is just going to throw this Frenzy Plant pretty early, actually. I think this is about as early as they can get it. There's that Frenzy Plant to take out the Drapion. It is pretty hard to keep track of Drapion's energy. Gliscor going to come out, and Fury Cutter up, get to this Night Slash, throws this right before the Venusaur is able to reach their next Frenzy Plant. Night Slash from here is probably just barely going to KO. It's going to be very close. Manages to take Venusaur down and gets the boost. Now it is a boosted Gliscor with a with a Defense Deoxys that's only really going to be able to be good for catching something. Opponent throws the Night Slash, doesn't get a boost. At this point, the game is pretty much super over. Ditch is able to just throw this last Night Slash, and this, now that it's boosted, is going to be enough to take out the opposing Shadow Gliscor. That is a GG. Very well played. So 3-0 bubbles, and manages to take that win. Hopping right into this third battle. I'm not going to try to pronounce that opponent's name. Too hard. Not looking to work nearly that hard this season. Drapion into Stunfisk. So this is a terrible lead for Drapion. The opponent desyncs a little bit, so we'll take that. Need every advantage you can get in this kind of situation. Gonna zero bubble a Crunch. There's, like, no way the opponent shields this, so I don't know about this decision, but I guess just trying to get that one out of the way, maybe trying to get a debuff. Doesn't end up getting a debuff, switches out into Deoxys. The opponent banks all of that energy and switches out into a Trevenant. This is really bad. This is a very bad lead, followed by a very, very bad swap. So, gonna shield here, ends up getting Seed Bomb baited, which is unusual that the opponent would bait there. Was thinking about zero bubbling the Psycho Boost and then decided otherwise. Misses one bubble. Hopefully that doesn't end up making a huge difference. Gonna zero bubble this second Psycho Boost. I think the opponent would just barely survive this, but they do decide to shield it. So, good call on bubbling the first one and zero bubbling the second one. Gonna throw this third Psycho Boost now. There's no point to wait anymore. This Deoxys is already fully attack debuffed, so everything is already going to be doing the minimum. Even there, Psycho Boost still does kind of a decent chunk, getting really close. Almost able to counter this Trevenant down, but it survives with a little bit of HP. Drapion going to come in, not able to sneak in a Poison Jab, or a Poison Sting, which is unfortunate. Going to end up having to take this charge move. It is the Shadow Ball. And opponent throwing right away, so this can only be a Seed Bomb. You can't store back-to-back Shadow Ball. Seed Bomb lands. It does about half of what a Shadow Ball does. And able to Poison Sting the Trevenant the rest of the way down. And the opponent is going to send out a Hypno. So, I mean, there's definitely a Stunfisk back there with already kind of a decent chunk of energy. Not sure why they'd send out a Shadow Hypno and then let the Crunch through. I don't understand. But yeah, Aditya's going to send out the Gliscor now that it's aligned with this Stunfisk. I guess maybe because the opponent already had energy on Stunfisk, they wanted to just come out with Hypno, maybe misjudging Drapion's energy, and were hoping to just be able to farm it down so then they'd have energy on Stunfisk and energy on Hypno. Or maybe they were just assuming that Aditya would insta-swap, expecting to try to catch a move from Stunfisk, since Stunfisk did have a Rock Slide. But, you know, that's probably what it was, because these games are taking place at a reasonably high level. So definitely one of those options. Regardless, since Aditya wasn't insta-swapping out, kind of was able to get this Gliscor lined up with Stunfisk. Gliscor is a pretty good foil to Stunfisk, being that you take only, you know, neutral damage from Rock Slide and resist everything else. Gonna land the Earthquake, definitely gonna take them out, and insta-swapping into Drapion. 3 Poison Stings away from the Crunch, very good keeping track of his energy. Able to throw this Crunch, and that is going to take Hypno down. That is a GG. Really, just very, very heavily lost lead and very heavily lost swap. But I mean, you know, if your opponent doesn't want switch advantage anyway, then I guess that's enough to flip that. Could not have possibly have felt good for the opponent there. But all right, into game 4. Up against Yudichan. Drapion into Clefable. So this is a pretty fantastic lead. I mean, Clefable would be pretty strong against Gliscor, but I mean, you know, even if the opponent decides to switch out at some point, here we're going to zero bubble the Crunch, kind of assuming that the opponent will shield, and they do. So getting a shield, going to build up to and presumably throw the Sludge Bomb. The opponent actually would. Like as Drapion, you're only going to be able to get to 2 charge moves, so there's not really a need to throw a Crunch in the first place. But I mean, I guess if you're going to zero bubble something, you might as well go for the debuff. And the opponent is going to send out a Deoxys. So Aditya's going to zero bubble this Crunch. Deoxys is super, super thick, so I don't know that they'll shield, but they actually do. So fantastic calls. 2 zero bubbled Crunches, getting shields on both of them. Very good reading, very good opponent reads here. So gonna no shield this first move. It is a Thunderbolt. Hits reasonably hard, but I guess there was no real need to shield that. The opponent is staying in. So, I mean, if I were playing this out, I would probably decide to start shielding the next Thunderbolt if the opponent decides to stay in any longer. Just because if they haven't switched out yet, they're probably kind of weak to Deoxys in the back, so I'd want to maintain my Deoxys. Not that double shielded Gliscor isn't pretty strong also. Actively swaps out into Gliscor. Deoxys waits until the last second to switch out, trying to catch a Night Slash on a Azumarill. Aditya wasn't about to throw that yet. Now going to go straight for the Earthquake. 2 Earthquakes is actually enough, and because the opponent stayed in for so long, he's going to be able to reach the 2 Earthquakes without any real difficulty. Going to end up shielding this Ice Beam. Ice Beam, double super effective, so it would definitely KO. So good shield there, and you've got 2 shields. Might as well use them somewhere. Able to get to the next Earthquake before this Azu was able to get to a second Ice Beam, just the result of them staying in longer with Deoxys. It was probably a necessary play for the opponent, like they needed to make that catch, or it wasn't going to be enough. Deoxys is going to come out, and it is just nowhere near enough health, so opponent going to resign the game. That is a GG. Nice, we are at 3-1 already. Let's see if he can secure a 4th win. Continue up against Anakin Elpro. Drapion into Superior. So this is a fantastic lead. Most Superior are running mono grass movesets, so Drapion will resist everything. They switch into Driftbloom, which is really, really not a Drapion counter. Gonna fully bubble this Crunch, although I fully expect the opponent to shield. Although Aditya can't really switch out of this either. Like, while Driftblim is pretty terrible against Drapion, it is quite good against both of Aditya's backline Pokemon. So, kind of obligated to stay in here, even though he would definitely love to be able to save Drapion for Superior. Gonna zero bubble this Crunch. This is high risk. And the opponent is going to let it go. So, that's going to make things a little more difficult. Going to end up having to shield this because you cannot lose Drapion, because Icy Wind would kind of one-shot would definitely one-shot Gliscor, and Gliscor is not quite, or Drifloon isn't quite in Night Slash range from Gliscor. So gonna fully bubble that next Crunch and manages to take him out. The opponent brings in a Sand Slash, and it might make sense to switch out and try to retain the Drapion, but can easily no bubble this, or can easily no shield that. Wow, I'm like fumbling all of my words right now. I'm so sorry. Gonna zero bubble this Crunch. The opponent shields it, so that's fine. Good call on the zero bubble, and he's just gonna stay in and let himself get farmed the whole way down. Gonna come out with Gliscor. Makes a lot of sense. Gliscor is kind of gonna wall all of Sand Slash's moves. I mean, it can learn like Rock Tomb and stuff, but you would expect with Night Slash for you to actually be carrying something like Earthquake, a nuke. So actually, very similar movesets. Good thing here, as long as the Sand Slash doesn't get a boost, and at this point, actually, it wouldn't even really matter anymore. Like, since getting a boost, even this double Night Slash boost, you know, the 2-stage buff will only increase the damage that you do with your moves by 50%. It's not like it doubles it or anything. It still wouldn't be enough to take out Gliscor any faster. So Gliscor might be a little bit lower here, but still going to be able to throw this Earthquake. One-shots the Sand Slash, and Superior gonna come out. Gonna stay in with Gliscor, and just gonna go straight for the Night Slash. Gonna zero bubble this Night Slash also. This is the third move getting zero bubbled here, so not necessary, but goes for it. Gets the boost off of that. Gonna stay in, get all of the damage he can get in. Almost able to make it to the next Night Slash, but not quite able to get there. Gonna send out Deoxys now. And this Superior has a lot of energy, so this is kind of a dangerous situation, especially if they go for a Leaf Storm or a Leaf Tornado and are able to get a debuff, and they do. Attack Harshly Fell, and there's no way to switch out and clear this debuff, so this can't be feeling comfortable right now. Then they go Frenzy Plant. Aditya no-shielded that, kind of hoping that it would just be another Leaf Tornado. Gonna end up shielding this because this could be a Frenzy Plant. Probably haven't been counting either, so I don't know. Ends up being a Leaf Tornado bait. They do not get the next debuff, so thank goodness for that. Gonna get all the counters he can get in before throwing this first Psycho Boost. He is already debuffed, so the Psycho Boost with after 1 is going to debuff him fully. It lands. It does not that much. He's able to fast move deny and throw this second Psycho Boost also. Going to get this out. It is just barely not going to KO, and it's just a matter of whether Aditya is going to be able to counter the Superior down or not, and he does manage to counter it down just before Superior makes it to its next charge move. That is a GG. That was a crazy last game. Really well-constructed team, and a very solid 4-1. Fumbled on that first game, but managed to pull it back in the next 4. It was some of those were very, very convincing. He gets a Poplio, which is fine, I guess. I mean, it's not like the legendaries are any better right now, and I am going to have to resize this. There we go, and turn on that, since this one was also recorded without sound. All right. So, Here we find ourselves with Brendaro, and she is playing this out in Little Jungle Cup, opening with a Shadow Skarmory. Opponent switches into Chinchou, which is a pretty hard counter to Skarmory, so I expect another pretty hard counter to Skarmory in the back. Or else why wouldn't you switch to the thing that's more neutral? And she's going to bring out a Wooper. So Wooper is pretty strong against Chinchou, although Chinchou can win if you zero bubble enough things as the Wooper. Just letting you know, I know this from experience, Wooper can definitely lose this matchup under the right conditions. So opposing Chinchou, going to throw this Bubble Beam. Going to continue to Spark. Having Spark definitely makes it a little bit easier for the Wooper. Brendaro going to go straight for the Mud Bomb here. Bubbles it fully, and the opponent shields. So, this is a little unsafe. It's not that bad yet. Gonna let this next charge move come through. It is a Bubble Beam again, and going to spam out this Mud Bomb, going to bubble this fully also. Kind of wanting to get the KO here if possible, you know, and the opponent shields that too, so this is not like super comfortable, not feeling super safe. Maybe could have made it to the Mud Bomb, not feeling super confident about it though. Just gonna throw this Body Slam. Wooper is very debuffed. Chinchou able to survive, and actually a good call to throw that because would not have survived the extra spark. So Chinchou's super low, also pretty loaded with energy. Gonna send out Skarmory. Chinchou gonna throw 2 of its Thunder Shocks before throwing this move. Even if it just turns out to be a Bubble Beam bait, Chinchou will faint unless the opponent switches out to transfer it, and that is exactly what they do, switching out, transferring it onto Togekiss. Brendaro gonna throw this Sky Attack, gonna zero bubble it. Nope, never mind. Was very confident the opponent was going to shield, and good call on bubbling because the opponent actually did not shield it because the opponent's out of shields. That's why. That is a very good reason. So gonna zero bubble this one because I mean you've got to zero bubble something. You need one more. So gonna zero bubble this Sky Attack, which would definitely KO Lotad. Lotad, by the way, in Little Cup has to be like nearly level 50. Like it is so prohibitively expensive. I don't have one. Most of the people I know don't have one. It is incredibly expensive, and I mean it's pretty bulky. But this opponent definitely has been lulled into a false sense of how bulky their Lotad is because you definitely don't survive a Sky Attack from Shadow Skarmory. And Vigoroth going to counter down the Chinchou when it comes back out. So, yeah, strong first game. That is a GG. So, all right, into this next battle against B Capo. So, Skarmory into Lotad, which is such an expensive Pokemon. Razor Leaf Lotad, I don't know who has been talking up Razor Leaf Lotad. I have never seen them. I never see them played. So they're not very popular at a very high level. I'm not sure what they're doing. They are so expensive, you guys. So doesn't zero bubble that Sky Attack, and surprisingly enough, the opponent no shields. I would really have expected the opponent to shield, and even though Skarmory probably could have taken out this Ducklet with like one Air Slash, gonna switch out into Wooper and build up a ton of energy on this Ducklet. Lotad gonna come out, and this is actually a pretty good maneuver. Having brought out Wooper to farm down like this, because now you're able to throw these Body Slams. This Lotad also being lulled into a false sense of how bulky their XL, very expensive Lotad is, and gonna fully bubble this next Body Slam, and that lands, which is probably a little confusing for the opponent. And Wooper goes down. Skarmory going to come back out. The switch timers are a little desynced, so opponent not quite able to switch out as instantly as they would probably like to. Gonna have to shield this. Like, it's probably a Bubble Beam. I guess you don't have to shield it if you don't want to. It still does a decent chunk of damage, and there is a Nidoran in the back, which Skarmory is a very, very strong answer to. Going to zero bubble this Sky Attack. Absolutely no need to, because there's no way the opponent no shields, right? They shield. Now going to switch out into Vigoroth and going to throw a pair of counters. So going to shield this first move. Turns out to be a Poison Fang, lowering Vigoroth's defense. Gonna zero bubble a third charge move in this battle. Zero bubbling this body slam. Gets another shield, so thank goodness for that. If the opponent had called the zero bubble and no shielded that, it would probably have meant Brenda's doom. Gonna throw this next Poison Fang. Vigoroth gonna no shield even though his defense has been dropped already. Barely able to make it to this body slam. And this body slam is going to KO only because this Nidoran is a shadow. If this Nidoran was a regular Nidoran, I think it would maybe... Actually, you know what? Nope, never mind. It was too low. Definitely gets KO'd. Lotad going to come out, take out Vigoroth with one Razor Leaf. And Skarmory is pretty much unaffected by Pointy Leaves, able to throw that Air Slash, and manages to take that game too with 3 zero bubbles. That is a GG. All right, next up against June Live. Skarmory into Abomasnow. This is okay. I mean, the Skarmory, you know, does super effective damage and only takes neutral damage, but Shadow Abomasnow hits pretty hard, and Weather Ball is super spammy, so it's actually kind of an iffy move. Opponent decides to switch out into a Seviper, which is really not a Skarmory counter either. And Brenda going to respond with a Wooper. Builds up a little bit of extra energy. Not too sure about how long it takes Seviper to reach a move. Able to zero bubble this body slam, and if Seviper no shields, it'll probably still KO, so a fine place as any to throw that. And the opponent is going to send out a Stunfisk. So unfortunate, could definitely have managed to make it to a Mud Bomb and force a shield out. Just going to throw this body slam, fully bubbles it, and the opponent no shields. And Wooper goes down. Wow, maybe it wouldn't have survived that extra Mud Bomb. You know, I don't really play Wooper that much. That thing seems a little squishier than it should be sometimes, though. So I'm going to shield this first move from Stunfisk, most likely a Muddy Water, and it is. Doesn't get the debuff. Going to switch out into Abomasnow. And Brendaro just going to switch out into the Skarmory. Was going to throw that, but probably going to let this go. Yeah. This is going to be a Weather Ball. It hits for neutral. It KOs. That does so much oh my god, that did so much damage. Spoiler alert. Shadow Abomasnow wins the zeros against Shadow Skarmory in Little Cup. I was today years old when I learned that, by the way. So, gonna zero bubble this body slam. Needed to zero bubble another thing, so thankfully the opponent stayed in long enough to get to this zero bubble. Could definitely no bubble another body slam, force out another shield, but if the opponent was able to sneak in an extra move, they might have been able to reach the Rock Slide, so better to just go for the counter down after you get the necessary conditions met. That is a GG. It was actually a very close game, and shocking how much that Weather Ball did from that Abomasnow. Like, my gosh. Alright. Skarmory into Wooper. This is a fantastic matchup for Skarmory. I say fantastic, it's actually just fine. Shadow Skarmory is kind of squishy. The only good thing about using it for this kind of challenge, I think it was a good decision to use it, is just because Shadow Skarmory hits so hard, it's fairly predictable when the opponents will shield. Here, this Wooper is definitely going to shield, so Brendaro can pretty safely zero bubble this Sky Attack, although they have surprised me this set before. So, gets the shield, good call, and I'm going to stay in, throw more Air Slashes against this Wooper. This Wooper is built up to back-to-back, I think, at this point. You definitely survive this, so good call on the no shielding this body slam. If Wooper wants to prevent Skarmory from reaching another move, it's going to have to throw another body slam, and it does. So Brendaro can probably shield this, and then zero bubble another body slam, Sky Attack, and even if Wooper decides to let this one go, it will satisfy the requirement of a second zero bubbled move, and it will probably nearly KO them or bring them so low that you're able to just Air Slash down and end even lower, so providing even less farm for whatever comes out. And it is a Dino, and Brendaro could definitely have let it farm her down, but she opts to actively swap out into Vigoroth. Thankfully, the opponent was a little slow to the swap, so Vigoroth's able to pick up a bunch of extra energy. Because, yeah, the opponent has Nidoran back there, and having alignment would be pretty useful here. But this is fine, too. Going to have to shield this because, yeah, a body slam from here would definitely KO. The opponent actually does go for the body slam. Vigoroth going to throw this body slam here, going to fully bubble it, hoping maybe the opponent will let it go. If the opponent decides to shield, they can definitely win this matchup, but, I mean, from that health range, and Wooper being so good against Nidoran, Wooper should be able to just farm this Nidoran down. So while it was maybe a risky maneuver to switch out of Shadow Skarmory instead of just letting it get farmed down, bringing out Wooper here and able to farm up energy on there makes this pretty safe also. Can just throw a Mud Bomb or even a Body Slam, I think, from this range, and it might be able to take out Dino just because Dino is just that squishy. Land that Body Slam is enough to take out the Dino, and that is a GG for a very convincing, super solid 5-0 there to end this video. So, oh wait, no. Was that not it? Wait, oh my gosh, these battles are out of order. That was definitely the 5th battle. Okay, spoiler, she wins this one also. Skarmory into Barboach. I thought that was the 5th game, my gosh. Spoiler, she wins this one too. So, it hurts for me to have to root against Barboach, although I already know the outcome of this battle, so it's fine. Barboach is one of my favorite Pokemon. It's just so adorable, and apparently in Little Cup it's also ridiculously spammy, and the Aqua Tail hits unbelievably hard. So Brendaro going to have to shield this so that she can throw her her Sky Attack. Was trying to switch out at some point, but this was already a CMP. So Sky Attack going to go through, gets the shield from the opponent, and 0 bubbles that, so good start. And then going to switch into Vigoroth. Gonna throw a couple of these counters. Barboach just too spammy to allow Skarm to stay in. Gonna no-shield this Aqua Tail. It does so much damage. Barboach is such a... Yeah, Barboach is so amazing. Switch out into Cottony. Oh, Barboach. Ah, oh, love Barboach. Gonna throw this Body Slam, fully bubble it, and the opponent shields... So, unfortunate, because now Brendaro definitely going to have to 0 bubble something. Going to bring out Shadow Skarmory, but if you didn't know this already, Cottony not actually that bad against Skarmory. Charm is a very strong move, and Skarmory is not that thick in Little Cup. So, definitely not going to 0 bubble this Body Slam. We definitely need to KO this Cottony before Wooper takes any more damage. Hopefully, in the back, there's something that Wooper can handle. We've got Wooper with a shield, doesn't have any energy, but Barboach comes out, so that is a good start. Gonna make it to this Body Slam and able to get it out before Barboach is able to fire off its next Aqua Tail. This Body Slam is definitely gonna KO Barboach. Sad to see Barboach fall, but it had to happen. So, and there is an Onix in the back. This is a perfect Pokemon to have back here, but Brendaro does still have to 0 bubble something. So, gonna throw this Body Slam. Gonna 0 bubble this, just in case. Just in case the Mud Bomb KOs. You don't want to accidentally KO it. It does, like, nothing to an Onix. It would do basically nothing even if you had bubbled it. And now going to throw this Mud Bomb. And hope that it's enough. And it's not. The Onix is also throwing its move. This is going to be a Sand Tomb, which you definitely can shield, but it's going to lower... Wooper's defense, so those rocks that it's throwing are going to hit just a little bit harder. Able to reach this Body Slam, though. This Onix is super, super low, and yeah, with this Body Slam, surprise, that is going to manage to take this game for a very convincing, super solid 5-0 to end this video. That is a GG. Watch that only have been the 4th one, and there's a 5th one, and that was the one that I thought was the 5th was the 3rd. Am I that bad at this? I'm not that bad at this. Okay. There we go. Super solid 5-0. I don't get to see what she claims. But, yeah. Thank you, everyone who sent in videos. Thank you all so much for watching. If you'd like to participate in these kinds of challenge, maybe get me a set of your games to post in my next video. Link to join my Discord is in the description. In the description, you'll also find the... the challenge for next week. They will always be in the description for these videos, and you can also join my Discord to stay up to date on what the new challenges are, and to join the discussion about it if you have any questions or need anything clarified. Next week, next week's challenge is to play in, well, you can use any team in any league. but the team that you are using must be missing 1,000 CP. I would highly suggest you play this in Ultra League, but if you really want to try to do it in Great League, I guess go right ahead. But yeah, next week they are giving us Catch Cup, which no one wants to play. I'm not going to encourage or force anyone to play Catch Cup. That would be cruel, and that is not my way. So designing my challenge specifically for Ultra League, just play it out however you'd like. There is no specific requirement on tasks that you need to do in game, but your team must be missing 1,000 CP. If you want to bring a 1 Great League Pokemon and 2 Ultra League Pokemon to Ultra League, that's fine. Or you want to spread the CP out more evenly and use 3 Pokemon at 2166. I have personal experience doing both of those things, and it's not easy, and the games get super weird, but they are fun to watch because people keep making me do that when I let Twitch pick my teams, or, you know, when I'm designing it to make it harder for myself to win. So that's the challenge for next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to do the things that you know you're supposed to do at the ends of videos. I know I've already asked you to do a bunch of things, but do those things also. They help me out a lot. You know, it helps to get this content out there. It's not easy to be a content creator for Pokemon Go battling this season. All of us are kind of a little bit view starved, so you know, feed me views. Share my stuff. Help me, please. Somebody do something. I'll see you when I see you.